get started with our big focus on the 13th of February, which is around a week ago. The farmers took to the highways to protest. While they claim that they wanted to remain a peaceful protest, this time around protesters have been witnessed with JCBs, metal sheets, gas masks, modified tractors and even sandbags. Meanwhile, there have already been certain bouts of violence that have been reported at the border. There was even tear gas shelling at the Shambhu border again today. The question then that we are asking is, does right to protest have limits? Let me quickly bring in our guests who are joining us live. Uday Sahai, former IPS officer, is live with us. Sumit Peer, political analyst, is joining us live. Haris Hoon, farmers leader, is live with us. Lair Sethi, activist, also joins us live. Sumit Peer, clearly, of course, this time eyebrows being raised because the farmers have arrived with JCB bulldozers, metal sheets, sandbags and other equipment as well.
Thanks for having me on your show. To best of my knowledge, I was told it is a protest for MSP. To what I know yesterday, that the government gave a proposal which within 2 hours was rejected. What I know that the tractors have been modified and JCBs and all are brought. I think we are here for a protest, not for a war. Why do we need modified tractors? Why do we need with JCBs? Why do we need with metal sheets and sandbags? Whom are we trying to fight with? It's one country. At the end of the day, we have one big country. So we are not here to fight with each other. We are not here. There should not be the mob. What is the need of that equipment on the border? This is a very important question which we asked. And how come that the new proposal which was given by the government is told by 21st will come back? Then suddenly we know in the night within 2 hours it is being rejected. If there are 5 crops which are costing government of India and exchequer a lot of money, if assured MSP is given on those crops, what is the problem of farmers to grow that crops? Why is this about wheat and rice only? And the important thing is, Uday, now if you look today, technically speaking, practically speaking, legally speaking, if Modi ji wants, Amit Shah wants, or everybody wants, all the MPs and all the MLAs of the country get together and agree to a consensus that we have to do something. But is the government of the day unable to enact this law? No, constitutionally the assembly or the parliament is over. Parliament cannot enact any law now. If the laws cannot be enacted now, why is you are protesting right now? You have to wait for the new government to come and then you can protest. And by the means of protest, there is no need for getting all this arsenal to the ground. I mean, how many Haryana policemen have been injured? What is this violence about? Why do we need to get these modified tractors and all? Bhai, tractor to tractor hai, usse top thodi banani hai. These are the questions what the so-called farmers should answer, what the protest should answer. These are very legitimate points. And for the sake of God, when the law cannot be enacted now, the Constitution of the India is not giving you the permission to do it now, not for Modi ji, for anybody. So you have to wait for the new government to commit, then something can happen. And the second question I want to ask is, if those 5 crops were proposed by the government, where we are spending for money, for US dollars or foreign exchange to get them, if we want to become Atmanirbhar in that, what is the problem in growing that crop? Is it the MSP only for wheat and rice? What is the problem in, let's say, for a urad ki dal? What is the problem for a moong? Let's say, what is the problem for a cotton? You can still get the money, because at the end of the day, you're in the business of farming. Where are these disconnects happening? How come within 2 hours you have concluded that the farmers do not want it? And is it untrue to say that only 6% of the crops are covered in MSP? 94%, 6% of the farmers are covered in NSP, 94% are not. Is it wrong to say only 26 crops are covered in MSP? There are more than 1,000 crops in the India. So when you look at the numbers, Uday, it is something more. There are videos out wherein people have been saying Modi ka graph Ram Mandir ke baad बहुत ऊपर गया, इसको नीचे लाना हमारे पास टाइम नहीं है. If I know it's a MSP protest, what else has got to do with the Modi ka graph and Ram Mandir? So where do these things figure out? These are some questions which are there for the people and for the Republic of India, for the Republic of Bharat and the so-called Kisan Netas and the Kisans to answer to the people of India. These are some blatant facts which are put on the table. If they have an answer, come up with the answer. Else, except, your idea is something else. It's not about MSP anymore. Uday.
Yes, let me also, get in a quick reaction from Uday Sahai. Uday Sahai, now, how is the police going to deal with this situation that, of course, is developing? Because we've heard of fresh tear gas shelling, of course, today from Shambhu border. But now we are learning that, they've got gas masks with them. They've also, the farmers this time got JCBs, bulldozers, metal sheets, sandbags and whatnot.
Well, as you have seen that Delhi police, Haryana police and UP police, the affected parties have already drawn up an elaborate arrangement at their border, whether it is Thikri border or it is Singhu border or it is Ghaziabad border. And along with the traffic guidelines, they have also issued a traffic advisory for people who commute on these routes so that they can take alternative routes. And it is evident that the primacy of situation lies in law and order situation, as you have yourself explained that they are coming all prepared to face this kind of police resistance, and therefore more than traffic, it's a law and order situation. And traffic, of course, diversion, traffic advisory, traffic regulation, etc. I mean, the normal traffic violations take place in a normal situation. This is an extraordinary situation where only the preventive steps that police have taken across the board in 3 states have been put on ground.
Yes. Harsh, let me bring you in here. Harsh, what is the fresh strategy of the farmers, in coming with all this fresh equipment? This is raising eyebrows. Is this helping the cause of the farmers or not?
To start where I am this very time. This time I am sitting on road. We are moving towards Delhi. And in UP police stopped us. We don't know why. Because we are not habitual to block the roads. But still, police wants us to sit on roads. We don't want to sit on roads. Just one of my colleagues was speaking for a few minutes. He was saying why farmers have modified tractors and all. This is the problem exactly. This world doesn't want farmers' growth. They want farmers should be in, half lungi and all, and in fields. But now, farmer can sit, farmer can ask their rights where they are. And MSP is our long-standing demand. This is not our newly raised demand. This is our very long-standing demand. This is not very fast. And see, one thing I would like to add. In 2011, in Consumers Affairs Committee, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, when he was the CM of Gujarat, he recommended Dr. Manmohan Singh, you must give MSP to farmers, but he didn't. Later on, in 2014, when there was an election, in manifesto, BJP already committed with farmers. If you vote us, we would give you MSP, guarantee Kanon. Farmers voted Prime Minister and Narendra Modi became Prime Minister. Still, we are waiting our committed demands. These demands, government already committed with we people. We are not raising any new demand. And when we completed our 13 months agitation in Delhi, that very time, Prime Minister said he withdraw all 3 laws. And on later, he committed with us, he would give us MSP guarantee. But he didn't yet. In last 2 years, there was not even a single meeting. We are not asking anything new. We are asking only one thing. What MSP government decide for our crops? MSP means minimum, not maximum. Just I am giving a simple example. We people grow crops and later on businessmen sell it in 100 times more. This is the problem for common man also. So we are asking only MSP. We are not asking anything new. And it's long-standing commitment exactly. And you people can understand, in India everyone can understand. We grow crops and government decide the rates. What we are asking? We are asking nothing. We are just asking what government decides rates over crops, we want same. And this very time I can move my camera exactly. You can see where I am. I am on roads and all our police is all around us.
Yes. Yeah, we can see that you're on ground there. Sumit, why don't you respond? Harshun there says that this is a legitimate protest. Their demands are genuine. They are not trusting the government, which is why they're continuing to move ahead.
Now, Uday, I'll answer Mr. Harsh sequentially. Point number one, and the most important point is, this time, government cannot guarantee you anything because the duration of the parliament has ended. You have to wait for the next government to come. That government will have the power to promise you or make it a law. This government cannot do it technically. Because parliament ki avdi mere bhai khatam ho chuki hai. That's the most important point. Point number two, what is this new demand of 10,000 rupees for every farmer? Right, every 60-year-old farmer. Then why? What about a farm labor? What about a carpenter? What about a plumber? What about a person like me? I'm not employed anywhere. I'm also, why? What about a doctor? What about an engineer? What about a sarkari karamchari? What about a non-sarkari karamchari? Why do you make it special? Point number 3, you're already getting subsidies and all. That is okay, no problem on that. Point number 4, the most important thing is when the government of India is telling we don't want wheat and rice. We are giving you MSP. Aap jitna ugaenge, will buy even the thousands of tons. Why don't you do, let's say, arhar dal, why don't you do cotton and five crops which the government of India stipulated? Last meeting of Piyush Goyal ji. Why are you rejecting that? Because if you're in the business or the profession of farming, how does it make a difference? I want to only grow rice and wheat, not a chane ki dal or not a cotton. How does that impact you? Because for those things we are paying money and getting them from Canada. We don't want to pay them money. We want to grow them in India, and the MSP is guaranteed. So these are the few things which they need to explain us. And what I meant by modified tractor is not a good tractor. You can have all the good tractors in the world, brother. I have no problem. But why I'm talking of the modified tractor is a tractor which can take down a barricade, a tractor which is modified in such a way it can disrupt a police force, a tractor which can be used to move barricades and all those roadblocks. Why do we need JCBs? What has a JCB got to do with the Kisan protest? Metal shields, sandbags, modified tractors. And I have seen people have tied on the back of a Fortuner. There's a trolley and multiple trolleys of bricks which have been carried. So what is this? What is 6 months of ration? Can he explain what does the Kisan Neta say कि मोदी का ग्राफ बहुत ऊपर बढ़ गया है, इसको नीचे लाना, हमारे पास time कम है. And when you all know, when I've been shouting at the top of our voices, no law can be enacted now. Constitutionally, brother, it is not possible. Then why are you protesting now? What is your protest going to lead you? You have to wait for the election to happen. Maybe you can start this in May or June. But right now, your intention is something else. Your iradas are something else. Am I wrong to say, Uday, that we have 4 times the stock of wheat and rice in our stocks what the country needs? Am I wrong to say only 6% of the farmers are covered by MSP, 94% are not? Am I wrong to say only 26 crops are covered by MSP out of 1,000 crops? And when the options of 5 crops is given by Piyush Goyal ji, Arjun Munda ji, why you have in 2 hours, what you were going to say in 2 days, in 2 hours you came and said, nahi, kisi kisan ko manzoor nahi hai. Why is this about wheat and rice? Why not about a urad ki dal and a cotton? How does it change the game? Government is ready to give to you what you want. But government will try to give you what it needs. By that logic, now tomorrow your owner of your channel will say, okay, I'm running a new channel, give me a MSP on each program. A doctor will say, give me a MSP on each program. Let's say I'm manufacturing plastic cups. I'll say, okay, I'm producing this many cups, give me a MSP on everything. Then we are changing the regime. It's not a communist regime, and MSP was a 1960 era law when we were food deficient. Today we are controlling 40% of the food grain of the world. And why do all the Kisans of the entire India don't have a problem? Only a handful of Kisans from a very particular area of Punjab have this problem. Now, people from UP have not joined you. People from Haryana are not joining you. Why it is this? And if there is so much of a problem, why doesn't Bhagwan Manji agree to all these demands? Because legally, technically, practically speaking, Mr. Maan can implement it tomorrow in the state of Punjab. Why do you want to block the roads? Why do you want to cause havoc? Why do you want to block the economy? These are some of the technical, factual points, Uday, I have put with all statistics and data, which anybody can verify. So if they have an answer to that, let me know the answer. Else I will deem it to be a political agitation. And especially कि मोदी का ग्राफ बहुत ऊपर गया राम मंदिर के बाद, भाई इसको नीचे लाना टाइम कम है. I mean, this is on record. This is on social media. I'm not casting aspersions. Why do policemen need to get hurt? Why do 30 policemen of Haryana police need to get hurt? Why do people in uniform need to take the brunt? These are some of the important questions what I want to say. And why it is only a one section of Kisan from a one particular state only growing wheat and rice. What is this zid about? If you are in the business of farming, you can grow anything. These are 10, 12 points, Uday, I have put on national TV. If any of them can answer, I'll accept it. Let people decide. If I'm wrong, tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me factually where I'm wrong.
Let Sethi come in here on what you make of these protests. Is there a line that the protesters also should now draw? Or do you believe that there's nothing wrong in what they're doing and now the equipment that they're coming with as well to the national capital?
Thanks for letting me speak as well. I heard Mr. Sumit Peer, what he said in the beginning and what he said just now to counter what Mr. Hoon was saying, and he happens to be on ground at the protests. Firstly, let me tell you something. I live in Delhi, and I was part of the farmers' protest. I went there. I was supporting them and helping them last time as well. It is not the farmers who have blocked the roads of Delhi. It is the Delhi police and the Haryana police and the Punjab police. It is the police barricades that have blocked the roads of Delhi or the entrance into Delhi. I do not think that these farmers would have taken the measures that they have to, bring these JCBs and, bring these stones that Mr. Peer is talking about, unless they saw what was being shown on television screens and on YouTube channels to us. And we've all seen what the police force has put up. Anticipation of these farmers. Is it not the right of any citizen of this country to protest peacefully? If they want to walk into Delhi, and to protest, I think the constitution gives them that right to do so. Unfortunately, ever since this government has come into place, what I have seen is that it is always the protesters who are supposed to be giving answers instead of the government that is meant to be accountable to the citizens of its country. So much so that, I was at a public forum wherein I asked one of their members of parliament to be accountable to me. He happened to be the member of parliament of my area, and he refused to give me an answer, saying, I'm not answerable to you. I am only answerable to my parliamentary committee. So they do not even think that they're accountable to the citizens anymore. They think they'll get away. I mean, that's what I feel, that they will get away with getting votes simply by playing on people's emotions and not by delivering on those. What we saw in the farmers' protests in 2021 was a clear indicator of that. During COVID, there were 3 laws that were bulldozed through into the parliament, See the parliamentary proceedings data for the last 5 years. The minimum, attendance in the parliament is from the members of parliament of the BJP. This is the data of the parliament that says so. So, while there was time, this was promised to them in 2021. They were promised that the MSP would be looked into. It hasn't been done. And now they've come back for answers, wanting to protest. They shouldn't have been treated the way that they have. And I think maybe they're retaliating, which is why you're seeing what is happening.
Right. Sumit, yes, Sumit wants to respond to you. Leher.
First of all, Uday, with due respects, you have a right to protest, and we have a senior police officer on the panel. He can validate this. But the government gives you the name and the jaga, naam and pata and the jaga of the protest. You have to take approval. They will give you a designated place. Where in the IPC it is written, where in the Indian law it is written, you can correct me, sir, that I can choose to protest on Delhi-UP border and block the border. Is it written somewhere? No. Even the number of people who can protest is given you. There is ample land in Punjab. There is ample land in Haryana. Why don't you pick up a piece of land and protest there? Why are you blocking the roads? Last time the Kisan protest cost more than $300 billion to the exchequer. Who's responsible for that? That tomorrow doctors will say, I will block the road. Tomorrow lawyers will say, I will block the road. Tomorrow labor will say, I will block the road. Plumbers, doctors, engineers, everybody will say, I'll block the road because I have demands. I have a right to protest, but I don't have a right to block the roads. I cannot cause them a loss to the exchequer. That's point number 1. Point number 2, about the MSP, Uday, nobody is answering me. When Piyush Goyalji gave you 5 crores, buy Inco grow crore, as many tons of you want to grow, we will buy. Why are you adamant on wheat and rice only? Is it MSP of wheat and rice, or is it about MSP? If it's the MSP, it stands settled. Point number 3, the government of the day cannot enact the law. You know it, I know it, everybody knows it. There is no games which are being played. Point number 4, if you're led in the Delhi, what do you expect the police to do? You want to come and hamper the life, you want to stop the traffic or lights. What happened at the Red Fort? What happened at the ITO last time? You know, we have debated on this. Red Fort, ITO, so will you let that happen? We want to stop the Delhi, you want to stop the life and business of Delhi. Why should an ordinary taxpayer like me suffer for what so-called protests? If tomorrow I have a protest, I have no right. Do you think I can go and block the roads? Who gave me that right to block the roads? You are media, Uday, can you and me go and block the road? No. We have to take a permission and we will be given a place to protest. Go and protest there. I have no problem with that. And if you are anything, the laws are taken back. Whatever the BJP's attendance or not attendance is in the parliament, that is not going to impact the outcome of the protest, and that has got nothing to do with MSP. That is the problem of Mr. Modi, and let Mr. Modi handle that. I think to the best of my knowledge, has nothing to do with the MSP. Still, you have some problems with the law. You can always go to the Honorable Supreme Court of India and say, this is our problem with the law, and let the law of the land prevail. By blocking the roads, by disrupting the economy, by doing the things, and you are now blaming the police. What do police do? If police do not do the job, you say, what is the police doing? What happened in Red Fort, is that justified? How many police walas of Delhi police got hurt? What happened in ITO, is that justifiable? What happened on the Delhi-UP borders, was that justifiable? How many times we have suffered because our kids could not go to school, we could not go to work? Why I as a tax-paying citizen should be penalized? What is my mistake in that? Now, by that virtue, tomorrow doctors will block the road, engineers will block the road, lawyers will block the road, plumbers, mistri, any walk of fruit wala, ready wala, everybody will block the road. So Being a farmer, is there an exception in the IPC? Because I'm a farmer, I can block any road I want. I mean, where does this come from, Uday? This is absurd. You have a right to protest, but you don't have a right to block the roads. There's an officer on a panel, he can correct me legally if I'm wrong. That is my limited take on it. And how in 2 hours you have decided no, Kisan wants this? Tell me, is it an MSP of wheat and rice or is it about MSP? Bhai, urad dal or cotton mein kya dikkat hai? You are in the business of farming, na? Your land can support that. The government has given you option. Why did you reject that? What is this all about? I will tell you, Uday, because all those things are imported from Canada. And they are imported from Quebec. Have I told what I have to tell? I can elaborate more, but I don't want to, because this is not what should happen in the country. This is very unfortunate what is happening in the country. We can't have people coming with JCBs and modified tractors and all to handle the people of the country, the police of the country who are in the uniform and are in the duty to protect the land and the sovereignty and on the orders of the elected people of the country. They follow the orders of the people who are being elected by the Jansadharan of the country. If there's Modi there, if there's Mr. Shah there, if there is Khattarji there, they are being elected leaders. People have voted and given them to power. So if you want to have a political battle, fight the election, win the election, and then let's see what you can do. Otherwise, by doing this, you're only using your brute power to hold the state and to hold the economy to ransom. Uday.
Okay, I will get Leher to counter that, or Harshoon as well. I think he's also back with us. But Uday Sahai, you can respond on the security aspect of it. Is this a security threat? Is this something that the police will not tolerate moving forward? Already today, they've had to fire tear gas shells to control the situation in Jammu border.
Dear, as you know, it's a basic duty of the police to maintain law and order and initiate legal action accordingly. And the use of force is also that legal action. The gravity of use of force depends on the gravity of the situation. So whatever you have seen there, one is the preventive steps that police have taken. Number one, the traffic advisories and guidelines that the police have already issued. And third is the action that they have taken, and those actions are in terms of tear gassing is very much a part of use of minimum force. And from minimum to maximum is the regime which normally police adopts while maintaining a law and order situation. This is not even a law and order situation. This is a public order situation where one school of thought says that you start with the maximum use of force. But here, I think with all these trained people, the police has not done that. And still, police is bound to, if they do their duty, they are bound to get the flak, and that's understandable. That's the risk.
Okay.
The job they've undertaken.
Okay. Leher Sethi, yes. Quick counter. I have to then take a break in some time. Yes, Leher Sethi.
See, Uday, the fact is, let's say that, you give them permission, you give the farmers permission. I think they did get permission to, for example, protest at the Ramlila Maidan. How are they going to get to the Ramlila Maidan if you're going to put up these giant, stoppages on the way of them getting into the city? Firstly, I do not think that was, that is any time been the intention of the farmers. Also, the first time around when those laws were, passed, the BJP government said that they had consulted the farmer unions, blah, blah, blah. There was an RTI that was filed. The answer to that RTI, when it came back, it was said in the RTI that there was no meeting that took place. There is no record of any consultation with farmer unions that has taken place. So a lot of the things that, they say to the common public is not really proven eventually at the end of the day. I personally feel that, every time anyone protests against the BJP government, when they were not in power, when they were in the opposition, they were the ones who used to create the maximum ruckus on the roads. They have come today to where they are because of the protests that they did in their time. They were protesting the rise of the Indian rupee, the fall of the Indian rupee against the dollar. They were doing protests against, the rise of the cost of the LPG, etc., etc., etc. Protest after protest after protest was done by the BJP. At that time, the protesters were great people. They were standing up for the rights of the people, etc., etc. But today, when those protests are not being done by the people of the BJP, suddenly the protesters have become, they come up with the most random, disgraceful names for the protesters, and they go to completely disbarring the protesters' credibility. based on their personal whatever, their personal agenda might be, which is very, very wrong. That's all I'd like to say.
All right, let's leave it at that. My thanks to all of our guests for joining us. We've run completely out of time.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.